you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
Mid-June, Houston, Texas. The sounds of celebration during an afternoon of entertainment by the Harbor Lights Choir.
It makes a world of difference to be in a place that is filled with hope and optimism, and where the people know your name.
Everything is geared for people's comfort.
We've never stayed anywhere else, and we never would stay anywhere else.
At first glance, it appears it could be just an everyday group of people listening to music together. But this group is unique. They are enjoying themselves at the Jesse H. Jones Rotary House International, a hotel for cancer patients and their families.
It's very friendly atmosphere, you know, and it's like being in a luxury hotel, which it is.
When I first walked in, I just felt at home. It was almost immediate.
And so the party continues, with music by Ezra Charles and his son Jake, making the patients feel like it's home away from home. Rotary House is not your typical hotel. It is one of a kind. It is linked by a sky bridge directly across the street to MD Anderson Cancer Center, one of the top cancer centers in the world. Those who are staying here are just minutes away from the doctors and treatments they hope will save their lives. Eliminating cancer has been MD Anderson's mission from its beginnings in 1941. Consistently ranked as one of the top 2 cancer hospitals in the United States by U.S. News and World Report, MD Anderson has been at the forefront of research discoveries, technological advances, and new cancer treatments. Many patients, like Chet Marshall, will do whatever is necessary to find the best cancer treatment available.
I was losing blood. My bone marrow was not producing the blood that I needed. And it was April the 8th of 2009 that we went in to see the doctor, and it was confirmed that I had multiple myeloma.
Chet is a 64-year-old businessman, author, and professional speaker. After he was diagnosed, he did a lot of research and decided MD Anderson was the best place to go for treatment. It was widely respected, and it was convenient, a 2.5-hour direct flight from his home in West Virginia. But Chet faced another challenge. He might be in Houston for several months for treatment, and he needed a place to stay.
I was trying to find some, decent housing, knowing that I was going to be here for long periods of time. And then one of the advocates from MD Anderson said, well, there is the Rotary House.
Ironically, Chet recently had become president of his local Rotary Club back home.
I had no idea that it was connected to the Rotary Club. And so when I found out that it was, I thought, wow, that's perfect. And it was built for people like me. And so I felt really good just coming into it.
Rotary House was built for cancer patients like Chet. It was also built for 4-year-old Alan Sanders and his family. Alan had been diagnosed with a tumor in his abdomen. After initial surgery in his hometown of San Antonio, his disease recurred, and his family brought him to MD Anderson in Houston. The family needed a place to stay in close proximity, and Rotary House was exactly what they were looking for.
It is so convenient. We're right across the street over the sky bridge. We don't even have to step outside. He's got the wheelchair, he's got a walker. We carry a lot with us, so it's difficult for us to use the hotel shuttles because they don't have car seats.
Rotary House is also convenient for Holly Easley, who's being treated for myelodysplastic syndrome, a form of leukemia. After 3 types of chemotherapy proved ineffective, Holly's only option was a stem cell transplant.
It's very scary because you know you're going to be sick, and you know you're going to be in the hospital and not be able to leave for several weeks. But you also know that it's something you've got to do.
Holly and her husband Wade live near Amarillo, Texas, some 650 miles from MD Anderson. They needed a place to stay in Houston for several weeks, so Holly could be monitored by the clinical staff at MD Anderson. They discovered the Rotary House Hotel.
It's so convenient. You can just walk across that sky bridge. If you're in a wheelchair, you can wheel right over, get in the elevator, and be in your room.
These patients, like many who come to MD Anderson, are faced with life-threatening diseases. They have to put aside their everyday problems and focus on fighting for their lives. For many, the Jesse H. Jones Rotary House International is an answer to their prayers.
It is a good place to get to know people and, just interact with other people that are going through the same thing you are.
Rotary House didn't come easily into existence. It took a long time to become reality. In fact, it almost wasn't built at all. It began as an idea almost 50 years ago. The 1960s represented a time of great change. Houston, Texas was big, bold, and booming. The Texas Medical Center was expanding, and medical research and treatment were fast becoming a major part of the economy. As more and more patients traveled to Houston for medical care, housing demand increased. Among those responding to the need was the Rotary Club of Houston, a well-known and highly respected civic organization founded in 1912. The club was part of Rotary International, whose members all over the world are bound together by loyalty to their motto of service above self. The Rotarians were always looking for ways to help the community, and finding housing for people who needed medical care was a project they could support.
Rotary had several apartments that they owned in the medical center area. And these apartments were always full because people would come to Houston from literally all over the country, and there was really no good place for them to stay.
The idea of building a hotel for patients had been around for a while, but it became a passion for Jack Cunningham, president of Rotary Club of Houston in 1966.
We would get calls from people both in the United States and foreign countries that, where can we stay when we're coming to Houston for cancer treatment at MD Anderson? And so the club made arrangements for some apartments, and just over the period of years there was always a request for housing. So this became something that I think fueled Jack's mind that said, I think there's a need here.
Jack was a wonderful individual. He was always thinking outside the box. He was a visionary.
For Cunningham, the dream of a hotel for patients became a mission that he pursued the rest of his life.
Well, he'd grab a hold of something and shake it till it worked. And this is when he had to shake. I think it was his presidency, and he wanted to leave a mark.
In 1968, Cunningham formed the Rotary Club Foundation for the purpose of raising funds to build the hotel. Interest in the project would ebb and flow through subsequent years, but Cunningham was a man on a mission.
And it picked up tempo, and then finally we got the first $5,000, and then we got the second $50,000. Now we know we're stuck. Gotta go, gotta keep going.
Gradually, more and more Rotarians with cancer began staying at the apartments. Cancer was a long-term disease. Long-term housing was in short supply.
We were going to need something else, so do we find more apartments, or do we go back to the idea of a separate facility? And I think that's when the close relationship between MD Anderson and the Rotary Club started. Dr. R. Lee Clark was president of the UTMD Anderson Cancer Center when I first came here.
Dr. R. Lee Clark was the first president of MD Anderson and had led the institution for over 30 years. He was well aware of the growing need for housing for cancer patients. In 1969, the Cancer Center had bought a nearby apartment building on Holcomb Boulevard, which they converted into the Anderson Mayfair Hotel. During the next several years, talk continued about the need for a new hotel.
And then when Dr. LeMaitre became president and succeeded Dr. Clark, he saw we're going to need a new facility. And that's when the catalyst really took off.
By the mid-1980s, the Rotary Club of Houston had grown to over 900 members, larger than any local Rotary club in the world. It had helped launch Goodwill Industries in 1944. Rotarians were also counseling inmates upon their release from the Texas prison system, as well as providing mentoring programs for troubled youth at the Burnett-Balin County Home. During these years, Jack Cunningham, still an active Rotarian, had never given up on his dream, the hotel that people had begun to call Rotary House.
A project this worthy wasn't going to die. It had a life now. So I committed to Jack that I would introduce it during my year and that we would have to do it. I said, to make it fly, we've got to kick it off with some commitments on contributions. Southwestern Bell committed $150,000. Gene Werlin, $25,000, and Harry Goldman, another $25,000. And the women of Rotary, they contributed $30,000. We had a program where each member would commit to $1,000 over a 3-year period.
By the time Bill Teague took the helm as Rotary Club president in 1986, the club had raised $300,000 for the Rotary Club Foundation. Teague saw the money as a large piece of unfinished business.
I went to the Rotary Board and said, we need to either give the money back and move on to another project, or we need to finish this thing. And they said, well, okay, if that's the way you feel, you go talk to Dr. LeMaitre and figure out what we need. And I said, okay.
Dr. Charles A. Mickey LeMaitre had become president of MD Anderson in 1978, only the second man to hold that position after Dr. Clark. LeMaitre had previously been chancellor of the University of Texas system. He was also a Rotarian and had many friends in the organization.
When I approached him, I said, here's where we are. I have asked the board to make a decision, to either give it back or let's move on. And he said, well, Bill, he said, things are changing. He said, give me a little time. And it wasn't but a couple of months till he called back and said, we need it.
By the 1980s, a major shift was taking place in the way cancer treatment would be delivered, and MD Anderson was leading the way. Fewer patients were getting their treatment on an inpatient basis, and increasing numbers were receiving outpatient care, where they would be treated during the day and would go home or someplace else at night.
And at that particular time, 75% of the patients were coming from outside of Houston. That increased enormously from all over the world, of course, now. And so the need for hotel space was ever more realized.
We had originally envisioned a 400-room facility. Dr. LeMaitre said, nope, we only need a couple of hundred rooms right now. And I said, are you sure? Because I think you're going to explode. I think you're going to have a substantial increase. He said, no, Bill. He said, 200 rooms is about what we need right now.
Rotary Club estimated the hotel would be a $17 million project. They pledged to raise $8 million of that amount, and MD Anderson would provide the rest. To raise its share, Rotary Club turned to an organization it knew could help, Houston Endowment, the philanthropic foundation established in 1937 by Jesse H. Jones and Mary Gibbs Jones.
Jesse H. Jones at one time was regarded as the third most powerful man in the United States. And that, of course, would be second only to the president and the vice president.
Jesse Jones built Houston's tallest buildings during the first half of the 20th century, helped develop the Houston Ship Channel, and later led the effort that prevented Houston banks from failing during the Great Depression. His accomplishments attracted the attention of presidents. As chairman of the federal government's Reconstruction Finance Corporation during the Great Depression, he and the RFC saved the nation's banking system, along with thousands of homes, businesses, and farms. He then used the RFC to build the factories that would manufacture the tanks, trucks, and airplanes that would fight and win World War II. Upon his return to Houston, he began transferring his businesses and buildings to Houston Endowment so he and Mrs. Jones could focus on philanthropy and support the city they loved and called home.
They created Houston Endowment as a vehicle for organizing and maintaining their Houston interests, many of which were charitable. And at any given time, we are supporting about 500 charitable organizations inside Greater Houston.
Houston Endowment and the Rotary Club of Houston have a long relationship. Since 1958, a Rotary Club of Houston committee has selected more than 11,000 Jones Scholars, outstanding Houston area high school seniors who receive scholarships from Houston Endowment to help them attend college. When the Rotarians decided to approach Houston Endowment for help with the hotel in 1985, Howard Creekmore was president of the foundation, and the Jones Scholars Program had been underway for 27 years. Mr. Creekmore always strived to perpetuate the philanthropic intentions of Jesse Jones, who'd passed away in 1956. Joe Murphy, like Howard Creekmore, had been hired by Jesse Jones. She was Creekmore's assistant and went on to become vice president and a member of Houston Endowment's board of directors. She was also a Rotarian and said she'd speak with Howard Creekmore about the hotel.
So I said, well, I would talk to Mr. Creekmore about it. And so he said, well, that was fine with the proper request. Asked the gentleman to come up, and at that particular time it was Richard Robbins. He was president of the Rotary House International, and A.J. Lynch, Southwestern Bell, and Al Bussey, the three of them. Then Mr. Creekmore said, well, he would give them $1 million for startup funds.
Obviously, that $1 million plus the